What are some of the disadvantages of private companies? If the directors are negligent, if they do not fulfill their fiduciary duties, they're negligent or they're reckless, then those directors can be held personally liable for the debts and actions of a private company. However, for a director to be liable, he must have been aware he was in the company and running the business in a reckless or fraudulent manner. If it's just a business mistake, then they are not liable. Private companies are also subject to many legal requirements and reporting regulations. Now, these can be onerous, but they're also advantageous because they give them a very, very solid corporate governance grounding. Also, from an accessing credit perspective, the risk of loss is high for a financial institution when they lend to private companies because the banks will not have access to the shareholders. So the risk for financial institution is higher. When a private company therefore goes to apply for funding from the banks, they're a lot more rigorous in terms of how they assess its ability to pay back. Usually, a person who applies for funding through a sole proprietorship, it's far less rigorous what they have to go through relative to a private company. Insofar as costs are concerned, incorporating a private company doesn't need to be expensive at all. It doesn't need to be expensive, but it's a little bit more expensive than running a sole proprietorship. From a public investment perspective, there are regulations against selling shares to the public. A private company cannot sell shares to the public. It is not permitted to do that. Obviously, because it's a private company, it cannot be listed on a stock exchange. And for a foreign national wanting to operate a company in South Africa, they need a local public officer. They need a local public officer.